this video I'm going to be bringing you guys along to basically watch me practice my speed and precision. Some people will call it speed and accuracy, but I'm going to be working on precision. I'm going to be working on a small target area, and I wanted to talk to you guys about basically building these targets. And the sad thing is, I think a lot of people are spending a little too much money on targets when they can just be creative. Just get a target stand like this, and you can take spare cardboard. Like I've got this from my printer or my paper shredder, and I just cut off the areas. And this stuff I got from, someone asked, I got this from Sportsman's Warehouse, these little things, and these have actually been hit by bullets from me being a stormtrooper and trying to shoot something that's this big hanging out of it. So, you know, whatever, it's still doing good, right? But you can simplify it, and if you're allowed to on your range, I've been to ranges where you're actually required to pay for a target. But anyways, if you're allowed to get creative, check this out. A Pop-Tart box, you know, like the ones you get at Costco where it has a bunch of them, at least 6 in the box. I basically have this. It's the same size that I would actually want to be working on, which is about a 4-inch. It's about 4 by 5 inch. It's not as small as I would want it to be. I would want it to be, you know, maybe like 3 by 4. So this is about the size that I would want to work with. So taking away, you know, these wings or whatever, and taking away the top, because this is just a way to secure it. But my lines are clearly defined, and if you want to get precise, then you can basically take a Sharpie and you can, you know, draw out your tolerance lines, I guess you could call them. But yeah, you can get creative with your targets. You can use free stuff, you know, your ammo boxes even. Keep those around and use those. The actual flat face actually works pretty good, and then the fine lines of the sides of them, the really thin part for the side of the boxes, actually work good for precision shots if you actually want to practice on that. So you can get creative with your targets. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. Save the money for actual ammo. Like a lot of people preach, well, I shoot 9mm because the cost is less. Yeah, but you're wasting all your money on these targets and everything else. But anyways, this is a way to save money and be able to prioritize the funds towards the target. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up also a piece of printer paper from my printer test, because my printer sucks right now and I got to get a new one. So that's going to be $100 that I could spend on ammo, but I got to spend it on printers so I can print off, you know, targets, because I got a bunch of printer paper, because I actually want to demonstrate using some targets that you can print off. But I could always go to the library. Anyways, so I have it basically folded into 4 pieces here, and this is about the target zone that I want. If you see comparatively, it's about the target zone that I want, and I'm going to have it split into 4 quadrants, and that's going to be my aiming area. I'm going to be working from 5 to 7 yards away, and the goal is to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a drill. And this is going to be static. I'm not going to be working around cover. I'm just getting a baseline, and I'm going to be working with my shot timer that's off of my phone, and it's called Splits. You go into your app store, type in Splits, and that's your Splits app. It actually is a shot timer, and it actually does pretty well in my opinion. So anyways, the rain is starting again. Shouldn't last too long, but I'm going to get all this stapled up, and I'm going to start with this Pop-Tart box and just see where I'm at. And I'm going to bring you guys along to show you how I go ahead and practice building my speed and precision. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. That was crap. It was 2.7, and you know, I was aiming at the target right from the get-go. That was the splits right there. So pretty accurate. It was pretty slow, and I gotta amp it up, and really I wasn't really doing my job right off the bat. I was kind of in a daze, so I gotta do it again. So here we go. Okay, so that was a little bit better. I was actually reacquiring my sights and stuff like that, and you can see the splits were just a hair better, but I could still do better. And the idea is to get your split times down. So let me go ahead and do a little magazine exchange and keep going. That's a little more in the range of satisfactory. As you can see, I'm at the 4 or 5 mark reacquiring the sights and trying to pull the trigger as fast as I can without moving the gun. Now, I still wasn't as successful as I would want to be. I threw some a little bit high and stuff like that, but it's just a work in progress, and I'm thinking more than I should, I think, but I think I'm thinking more than I should. That's a good one. Slightly better. You can see my splits, not all that bad, but they're starting to drop, so that's better. Just gotta acquire my sights, and you know, my whole thing is superimposing it on the target, not sitting there and getting a crisp focus. I mean, I could, but that would be kind of taking away my way of shooting, and you know, I really don't have a problem with accuracy there. It's just me moving the gun unnecessarily while I'm pulling the trigger that I need to work on. So anyways, keep going. That one was a bit better. You can see my splits are in the threes now, mid threes. That's really where I want to be, and you know, it takes a little bit for me to warm up to this concept of staying static and just being prepped or whatever, and having to wait for a timer to engage, because typically when I decide to engage, I'm going from presentation and engaging, and that's fine. The timer will pick it up regardless, so that's probably something I should have incorporated from the beginning, but I've drilled into my head that it's, you know, I gotta wait for a timer, and that's one of the reasons why I try to stay away from timers to begin with, is waiting for a timer can be kind of detrimental in my opinion. But anyways, I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to start from basically presentation, so, or a presented stance, so, stance, whatever. I'm going to do it my way now. There we go. That's what I like to see. So it did take me a little bit of time to get that first round on target, about a second. That's actually the standard that I train to, is from presentation and from a compressed ready, so to speak, and mid to low threes. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's where I'd want to be. My brain can only process things so fast, so I want to be able to actually keep a focus on the target to see what the target is doing. I know some people are like, well, you're shooting at paper, you're just going to see the holes go in. That's not the point. You need to keep the habit of watching what your target is doing. Like, especially in self-defense, you don't want to keep on putting rounds in the general vicinity, because you're focusing on something that is not as important as what is causing your life to be in danger. So if you're using deadly force, keep your focus where it needs to be, at least in my opinion. You need to keep it on the threat, and in that case, paper's a threat today. So you know, anyways, I'm going to keep on working on this, but that's basically, I wanted to bring you guys until I was to the point where I was actually happy with things. And of course, it's an adjustment. I got to make sure that I'm keeping everything pretty, you know, consistent with the way that I want to respond to a threat and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm just going to be continuing to work on today. So just wanted to bring you guys along with how I'm practicing this, and it is a process of figuring out things along the way, like adding a presentation to it to be more organic to what I'm training for. So being ready to engage a target and having to engage a target quickly at close range. So coming from presentation, being ready, and you could always incorporate a draw. But anyways, that's basically it. Making sure that you're, you know, being able to process what the target's doing and everything. This is within tolerance for me. So with all that said, I appreciate you guys watching, and you guys have a good one.